Hello, this is Edward Lambert with another video of 6-element theory for acupuncture. And this video is going to be about the small intestine meridian supporting the spleen meridian. The actions of small intestine to harden and set limits establish a basic skeletal structure which supports the body. Muscles are able to move the body because they attach to bone. Small intestine tends to form structures which are too rigid and consequently ineffective. This rigidity needs to be made resilient and flexible, otherwise it will break more easily. A plant that bends will not break in strong winds. This is the idea of spleen, as you take this rigid structure and make it flexible. Spleen brings the suppleness to the rigidity of small intestine. This is important. Spleen has a changeable and mutable nature. Spleen substance is used for joints between bones. Joints articulate the bones, which gives dexterity and fine motor abilities. Rigidity of mind and body shows that the spleen meridian is not developing well. This will lead to liver stagnation and excess liver. Spleen is weak because small intestine is being over-domineering and hoarding its chi. Liver is in excess because small intestine is damming up the liver. The key to treatment is to relax the small intestine's control and constriction of liver, which will allow the development of spleen. Qigong and yoga are relaxing forms of exercise that develop the flexibility of spleen. Yet they can also weaken the authority of the small intestine, which could lead to a weak personality. In such a case, exercises using weights could complement the yoga. Weights maintain the strength of the bones. The small intestine organ digests food. The small intestine discerns which foods the body should absorb and which should be discarded. This ability of small intestine to maintain a high standard for digested foods leads to better quality spleen nutritive substance. It is important that the small intestine is not overloaded with too much food. It is also important that food be kept simple but complete. This kind of food makes the job of supporting spleen nutritive substance so much easier for the small intestine. If the small intestine rushes food through too fast onto the large intestine, diarrhea is likely. If food moves too slowly through the small intestine, constipation is likely. Diarrhea and constipation are usually said to be mainly a spleen disorder, but small intestine meridian plays a large role too. Constipation and diarrhea indicate that small intestine is not supporting the production of good quality spleen nutritive substance. And I'll just add something before I go to the point combinations, is that if you look at something like stuttering or dyslexia, where the mind is unable to process certain types of free-flowing information, you want to look towards the spleen. The spleen is not being supported by the small intestine. The small intestine is being too rigid, too narrow, and not allowing the spleen to just free flow with the information. Okay, now I'll go into the point combinations between the spleen meridian and the small intestine meridian. Spleen 2, small intestine 2, and small intestine 3 for pain and heaviness in the bones. Spleen 3 and small intestine 4 for pain in the bones, diarrhea, borborygmus, or constipation due to rigidity of emotions and inflexibility of body. Spleen 4 and small intestine 3 for swelling of face or throat due to deficient earth energies in the body. Once the earth chi is supported, proper tone of tissue will return. Spleen 5 and small intestine 7 for fright, mania, depression, or sad heart due to inflexibility of the mind to discern the truth.